Don't do that. No, 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 no. Check 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2 3 4 5. Do 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 do. Okay. I wish you guys could hear me. Can you? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, actually, it does matter. You do kind of need to hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. Obviously, this has been, as I like to refer to, audio video hell, or AV hell for short. I had another workout we tried to stream this morning. It didn't quite work out. I am still learning how to use all this technology stuff. I feel like I just turned 40, so I feel like I have a little bit of an excuse in terms of like how long should I, I think at like 30, 40, people, when it comes to technology and stuff, you should be given just a little bit more of a leeway, I'm still trying to figure out. Justin Curran, what's going on, my friend? Dave, from the old Crunch days. You still at Hero? Anyway, yeah, no, I was just going to say that, I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay and all that type and stuff. Coach or trainer? I do it all, man. So, today's topics include, unless you guys have some questions, Myron Heston from Mount Carmel, good to see you again. What do you have, like 7, 8, 9 kids? I forget. I lost count, man. I apologize. I know they're all special, and I don't want to be flippant when I say that. I just kind of lost count of how many kids you had. I know you have a lot, and that's great, man. I wish I could do it. I got a lot of clients, that somewhere between, let's say, 20 and 500. But they're all special to me, so I totally understand what you're saying. Topics for today include, unless you guys want to ask me something specifically, what is the most important way to lose weight in terms of, like, are we thinking diet? Are we thinking counting calories? Specific groups? Fad diets, meaning like the keto diet, the Mediterranean diet, South Beach. Are any of those diets any good, or should I just stick to counting calories? Let's go ahead and start with that. My first feeling on the whole thing is that the only way you're ever going to lose weight is through counting calories. So you have to be in a caloric deficit, meaning if you want to lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you can consume. And just for simplicity's sake, keep it around 2,000 calories. I mean, you might burn more during the day, you might burn less. It really depends on how old you are, how much activity, what gender you are, your size of your body. But if you keep it around 2,000 ballpark, for most people it's going to apply. So what does that mean? That means if I only eat 1,500 calories a day and I'm burning 2,000, considering that a pound is 3,500 calories, it's going to take a week to lose about a pound. So can you do it faster than that? Absolutely. Why is it that I sometimes don't eat for a day or two and it feels like I lost like 7 or 8 pounds? Well, a lot of that's water weight. So our body is primarily made of water. If you really want to lose weight, if you're really trying to like come in low on, like, let's say a weight loss challenge or something like that, just stop drinking water. Like, that's what wrestlers do. Not only will they stop drinking water, but they'll also sweat it out. They'll put the garbage bags in, they'll sit in the sauna. I actually have to weigh in for a weight loss challenge next week. Now, I don't know if you've done this, but I put $100 down at the beginning of January. I'm like, easily, I'll lose 30, 40 pounds. I'm like a weight loss expert. I have no problem doing that kind of thing. I'm down 21 pounds. I feel like I can lose another 5 before the weigh-in next week. Does that mean I'm going to burn 3,500 calories a day, 5 days before the weigh-in? No. That means I'm going to do everything I can to sweat as much as possible and try to drink as little water as I possibly can, just to have a weight that is the lowest possible so I could have a potential chance at winning this weight loss contest. And as soon as I weigh in, I'm going straight to drinking water and eating the way I used to, and those 4 or 5 pounds that I lost just for that weigh-in will come right back on. Every single day, you're going to fluctuate 5 pounds up and down. So don't let that be either discouraging or deceiving. So you can wake up in the morning and be down 3 pounds, or after a good night of drinking or something like that, you could be up 5 pounds, something like that. But honestly, as the day goes on, it'll obviously even itself out. The thing about that too is, when I'm telling clients or anybody, if you want to get a decent, marker as to like what your progress is, once a week, the same time, the same place, under the same conditions is ideal. So what do I mean by that? Like Monday morning, after you go to the bathroom, weigh in every single Monday, whatever. So then you won't have to deal with the fluctuations as the week goes on. For women, is special times of the month, and I do mean special. If you had a big meal the night before, if you didn't work out, you get on scale, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I gained 3 pounds and stuff. A lot of that is just water weight. The ideal thing to do is once a week, unless of course, it's not going to blow your mind. You could do it more often if you like. I wouldn't recommend doing it less, just so you do have a realistic idea about what you're doing. But once a week, same conditions, you get a decent idea if you're heading in the right direction. And then after that, it's just kind of like, how long are you going to do that for? So, consistently losing 2, 3, 4 pounds a week is very realistic. A 300-pound guy is probably going to lose maybe more than that per week when they first start dieting. Somebody who weighs like 150 pounds, probably not going to lose this much. So, how do they lose that kind of weight? I think counting calories is probably your best bet in terms of getting a realistic, I'm trying to think of the right word. There's a realistic intake of the calories that you're putting in yourself. And the best way that I've found in terms of how you could possibly do that is an app called MyFitnessPal. I've used it umpteen times. Anytime I've been serious about weight loss, I always go to MyFitnessPal. I think there was another one called Lose It that people were using for a long time. I know there's several out there now. I know with Fitbit, I think they have their own calorie tracker system, that works with the wearable, so you can count how many steps. But you have to have some sort of way to mark how many calories you're taking in, and I personally found that MyFitnessPal is the way to go. Now, there's umpteen apps in the App Store, and your friends are probably doing something different, and they'll tell you, well, try this app or try that app, or Live Strong, I think, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Find one that works for you, stick with it, and go. But the thing about MyFitnessPal is they were picked up by Under Armour, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, and their online community is pretty strong. Their database is pretty big, so there's a good chance that if you go to, whether you shop at a Publix or a Costco, it's going to be on there. Whether you eat at a Portillo's or a Dunkin' Donuts, all those food items. Now, I'm not saying you should eat at Portillo's or Dunkin' Donuts or Wingstop or any of those delicious fast food joints, but what I am saying is they're all going to be in MyFitnessPal because it's been around long enough and people can manually enter that stuff. So should you eat anything, there's a good chance it's in MyFitnessPal already. All you'd have to do is consistently use your app or use the desktop version to mark how many calories you ate that day, and then you can kind of get an idea. How close to that 2,000 are you really? If you're an athlete, you're working out an hour or so a day, or you just have a naturally high metabolism and that, at 2,000, you could probably get closer to 3,000, right? Or if you're somebody that's sluggish and hasn't worked out in a long time, tends to retain fat more often, that type of thing, you probably want to stay, as close to it, if not under that 2,000 as you possibly can. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think it doesn't matter if you're doing South Beach, keto, blah, 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 blah. If we're talking about losing weight, the only way is to burn more calories than you consume, and the best way to do that is through calorie counting. Now, I know some of my fitness brethren will probably disagree with me, and that's okay. A lot of this stuff is marketing. If you don't believe me, why were the low-fat diets during the 80s so big? Why is the low-carb diet now so big? I think eventually it's going to go back to low-fat. Just going to say, no, we were wrong. I don't know. I really don't know, but over time, in terms of dieting across the board, all we've been doing is shifting macronutrients. So I just say macronutrient distribution, meaning, low carb, low fat, high protein. How much did you have? Am I 60, 15, 25? Am I, 40, 40, 20? All that type of stuff. There was a diet that I saw was all fruits and vegetables. It was the 80-10-10 diet. So 80% carbs, 10% fat, 10% protein. But it was an all fruit, all vegetable diet. You don't think you're going to lose weight on an all fruit, all vegetable, high carb, 80-10-10 diet? Yeah, absolutely you are. Your body is ripe to consume those type of nutrients. It's way different. 300 calories of eating spinach and kale and some cucumbers is way different than eating a Snickers bar. So, in terms of all that type of stuff, it really does boil down to calories and stuff. But then after that, now we're talking about strictly for weight loss. After that, it boils down to your food choices. And ideally, we want to choose food that is the highest in nutrients. So your fruits and your vegetables, that should be the staple of every diet. I know even in, when I'm doing CrossFit, right? So, it's always, it was meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. That was the mantra for CrossFit. So that was just basically the paleo diet, in a sentence. How do you sum it up? And the thing about that is some fruit, little starch, no sugar. That's the big fear of sugar, right? And sugar's a carb, and we want to be as low carb as possible. We don't want to eat too many carbs and lend itself to metabolic derangement, blah, 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 blah. The truth is, fruits are good for you. If you want to call them nature's dessert, you can. You should be eating fruit daily. You should probably be eating it closer to the morning time, and so you have an opportunity to burn all that stuff. But when you say some fruit and you kind of promote meat more than you would fruit, the body has a difficult time processing meat. So, fruit, it has an easy time digesting. In fact, fruit is typically more, higher in water content than anything else. And so your body can definitely process all that stuff. You can take all the nutrients out of it with the fiber. It'll slowly digest it through your system. You feel good. It tastes good. Fruit's a great thing for you. That's why, even the CrossFit diet, the, paleo diet, there's the zone diet, which is just a partitioning of the paleo diet. All that stuff is cool to have like a nice mantra and I said some fruit, so I'm going to have, some fruit. Fruit's good for you. You should be eating fruit daily. You should be eating fruit often. Meat, on the other hand, is very difficult to process. And though it tastes delicious, especially when it's cooked right or smoked, or you got a nice barbecue sauce or, over a low heat for a long period of time, you could char each side, depending on what you're trying to do. I like to use my cast iron skillet. Anyway, it's delicious, but should you be eating it every day? Not if we're talking about maximizing your nutrition and how it makes you feel. Though it tastes delicious, I think meat should be considered to be the treat and only consumed 1 to 2, no more than 3 times a week. And fruit should be consumed daily, and a plant-based diet should be the primary focus of any diet. Again, now we're talking about the quality of the calories you're putting in your system. We're not just talking about weight loss. So, in summation on this bullet point topic that I'm completely rambling about, if you want to lose weight, counting calories is king. There's no way around that. You have to burn more calories than you consume. If you want to feel better, and if you want to lose weight a healthy way, the proper way to do that is to eat healthy foods and monitor the calorie consumption. And if you're not worried about necessarily losing weight per se, but you're more worried about longevity, health, energy levels, getting rid of that sloggy feeling that you get in the afternoon, stuff like that. First of all, stay away from caffeine, which I'm addicted to, because you get that crash. But, obviously the food choices is paramount. And for me, I like to switch it around and say fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some meat, little starch, no sugar. So that's what I have to say about that. We may have our first question from Will Hayes. He asks, and Will, that's a very fantastic question. I'm glad you didn't ask me, leave a comment that was just rude and trying to tear me to shreds, which I'd be cool with that too. Don't get me wrong, I totally deserve it. What's the best way to maintain muscle while you're losing fat? Now, the best way to do it is to lose fat slowly. And I will give you a primary example. When bodybuilders all have a season, and after their competitions are usually stacked pretty close together, but regardless of any competition that and I don't know if you're a bodybuilder, Will Hayes, pretty sure you're not, but if you were, this is how you would get in optimal shape. You would, in your off season, eat a lot. Ideally, probably higher in protein, which, you could do it without doing it with meat, but you probably would eat a lot of chicken and fish, chicken breast, lean meats, some red meat, but ideally the proteins, and you would couple it with beans and, any other, plant-based protein you could possibly get. It'd be a higher protein diet, but it'll also be a calorie excess. So while you're lifting hefty weights and trying to put that muscle on, you're in a caloric surplus. So I said that 2,000 is that baseline. You may be eating 3,000 calories, 3,500 calories. Bodybuilders, sometimes they go up to 4. Sometimes they just, well, I wouldn't go what they do. And I wouldn't go by what you see on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of that stuff is just inflated for the shock value. And I ate 20 cheeseburgers in one night, and I'm bored. Look at me. Okay, whatever. But don't believe everything you see on social media. But the truth is, during a season, like anywhere from like a 3 to 6 month season, you will eat in a calorie surplus, and you will lift heavy, and you will try to gain as much muscle as possible. Now, we're not talking about gaining muscle. We're talking about hanging on to that muscle while you're losing weight. 4 months prior or so to that competition where you want to strip away the body fat and maintain the muscle, you would want to go in a calorie deficit of 500, no more than 1,000 calories. And the reason you want to do that is if you lose too much weight or you're in a calorie deficit that's too big, you'll tap into the fat. So me personally, I've crash dieted umpteen times. I'll be honest. I drank nothing but juice for 30 days. I lost a pound a day up to about the 25th day, and after 30 days, I lost about 27, 28 pounds. When I did that, so I got on the scale, it was like 210, something like that. When I got off the scale, 30 days later, it was like in the 180s. When I did that, I lost a lot of muscle as well, and I felt it too because I still tried to consistently work out, didn't have the energy levels, felt tired, had a lot of headaches, very irritable, more than usual, and that was because I was in such an extreme calorie deficit that I lost a lot of fat, but I also lost a lot of muscle. If you want to maintain the muscle, what you need to do is be in a no more than a calorie deficit of 500 calories, meaning you'd probably still eat a lot of food because you need energy for your workouts, but you're no longer trying to build muscle, you're trying to burn fat, and you're trying to maintain muscle. So to answer your question directly, stay in a calorie deficit that's relatively low, somewhere between that 500, maybe, I wouldn't even go more than that to be honest, and plan on losing it over a long period of time. The realistic thing when it comes to just burning fat and losing weight at the same time is 2 pounds a week. So if we stick with that 500 number, if you're losing, if you're in a calories deficit of 1,000 calories a day, that would, in a week's time, that's 7,000 calories, that's 2 pounds. And if you do it properly while you're still working out, but, obviously losing, staying in a calorie deficit, or doing long, steady state cardio, which is low intensity, we can talk about that in a second if you'd like, you're going to lose about 2 pounds a week. So to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week over after a 4-month, 16-week period, you're talking about anywhere between 16 to like 25, maybe 30, 32 pounds of fat. That's noticeable. I think anything over like 10 pounds is kind of noticeable. And the funny thing about losing fat too, people always notice it before you ever will. The first place I always lose fat is my face. I don't know why. Anytime I ever gained weight, the last place it goes on is my face, and the first place it comes off is my face. And people be like, "Hey man, you losing weight?" I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I don't know. It's one thing that other people always notice first because I think it tends to come off my face. So it's a great question. Bridget, I didn't take French, but she worked at my high school. She was great. Mrs. Burke. Ms. Burke. Doesn't matter. Good to see you. Joe Connor's in the house. Sylvester Miller, thanks for the like. I appreciate it. Online fitness workouts. Do we still have time? I don't even know how long I've been going for. I'll hit some online fitness workouts, and then I will get the heck out of here because I don't want to take up too much of your time on a Friday. I'm sure you got better things to do. I doubt it, but we'll pretend like you do. So, online fitness workouts. Why do I mention that? Because I'm starting to see those ads in my Facebook stream and on Instagram and pretty much anywhere. But Beachbody, I think, is a phenomenal source in terms of getting workouts. And they went to an online subscription, which I think is great. I don't think it's that expensive either. It's like $8.99 a month. Hold on a second. Sweet nectar of the gods. Drinking coffee at 2 in the afternoon. I'll probably up till about 2 in the morning. But I don't have to teach morning workout classes tomorrow, so I can sleep in. Probably roll out of bed. Sleeping in for me would be 6:37. That would be amazing. It really would. Online streaming services. The newest one to the game that I've noticed, there might be others, but Peloton is kind of taking over. Peloton, they offer an online streaming service for their bikes. They also do it for the boot camps. They're also doing one for treadmills as well. The big difference about them is it's interactive. So you're going to have some sexy coach in a studio somewhere, probably near New York or something like that, and they're going to be instructing you, and they can kind of see your stats up there as well, the feedback from the monitor on your bike or on your treadmill, and they can yell at you like, "Hey Bobby, you need to pick it up," and you're like, "Oh my god, he's talking to me." So that's totally cool. I love that type of thing. I love thing that I think if anything gets people engaged, to be honest. There's some services that are better than other. The thing about like a Beachbody and even a Peloton is you're not going to get access to those coaches. Some of them may have a social media following, but the chances of you asking them a direct question and them getting back to you, I don't know. Call Tony Horton up on the phone. Book a 15-minute consultation with Tony Horton, the guy from P90X, or Sean T from Insanity. Are they going to get back to you? Probably not. A lot of those professional made ones are awesome. Don't get me wrong. The workouts are fantastic, but they hire models. They train for months in advance. They go to the shoot. They shoot. They do multiple takes. They use the best angles. Everything looks crisp and clean and awesome. And they kind of sell this like when it comes to trainers and fitness coaches and all that type of stuff, I just tell them they're selling you hopes and dreams. They're selling you like this, do this workout, you'll look like me, blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, if you did do the workout and if you did follow a strict diet, you probably would make some advancements, but would you look spectacularly like them? I don't know. A lot of those people are just genetically blessed. That's a fact. But is there anything wrong with them? Absolutely not. Anything that gets you off the couch or, just out of bed in the morning, if something encourages you to do some sort of fitness routine, the bare minimum is 20 minutes 3 times a week. I mean, that's a bare minimum, right? And how many people do you know don't even do that? And you might be one of them, and it's okay if you are. I'm not judging. But if that's the case, like streaming services like Beachbody, it's awesome. Find an instructor you like, find a system you like, go with it. The only thing about like a P90X is once you do P90X, and I did it. I actually did it 3 times. And it was a 12-week program, maybe 13 weeks, something like that. But once you're done with it, you're done with it. And then what are you going to do? Do it again? I did. I did it 2 more times, And I got great results, and I thought it was awesome. A lot of push-ups and pull-ups. There was nothing earth-shattering in there. I think the one earth-shattering thing was the P90X offered yoga, which you didn't see. I don't know if Richard Simmons was, famous for the aerobics. I didn't see a lot of yoga. It was either yoga or weights. There was never weights combined with yoga. I thought that was kind of innovative for them to do that during the P90X series. But then they came out with P90X2, which wasn't as good. And then it was P90X3, which was 30-minute workouts. And then everything went toward high intensity, shorter workouts. All the Insanity workouts became shorter and shorter. They were like, 20. Now it's like T25, I think was this thing. Is there anything wrong with them? No. Is paying $8.99 for subscription to Beachbody good? Yeah, absolutely. I'm carving my own niche in the terms of I'm trying to establish, members that I know. Like I see Eric DeLeon joined. I remember you from Mount Carmel. You were hilarious. If you ever want to do a workout, I offer them Monday through Friday at noon, Tuesday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning. Come join it. We stick around afterward. We chit-chat a little bit. You may have a question here and there about substituting some foods or what's the best time of day to eat. I'm your guy. That's the only thing I'm trying to do here. I'm doing it now on Facebook, right? Trying to answer people's questions, yada, yada, et cetera, so forth. Oh, you're welcome, Lon. Hey, it's Juice, Coach Juice, and Matt Gersh. Mount Carmel, the 89 game when he threw that halfback pass touchdown, totally put the wheels in motion for Carmel to capture their 2nd state title in a row. 2nd of 4. Matt Gersh, good to see you. Justin Weaver, that's so awesome that you're at Army now, man. Coach Tucker Waugh, I was there his first year. He was my receiver coach when I was on the team for half a minute, and it literally was that long. It was great working with you at University of Chicago, but it's also awesome that you're at Army now, too. I hope Scott Swanson, Satan, is still there, too. He is, if you ever see him, tell him, he's the motivation that I'm doing fitness now. Satan was a really, really good man, and he took care of me while I was there. And I would love to talk to him someday, but nonetheless. We were talking about online streaming service and stuff. Sign up for one, give it a shot. The only thing that I would encourage you to do is not necessarily pick one over the other because, Zumba is obviously different than, one that offers lifting weights, which is obviously different than some, yoga stretching routine and stuff like that. Pick one that works for you that you want to stick with, but I would encourage to find a friend to join with you and ideally do it with you because then you can get some instant feedback from that friend. Are they going to do it with you? Probably not. Are they going to promise to do it with you? Probably. A lot of people do. Is there a chance that they may end up doing it and you not? That's usually not how it works. Usually you find a friend and you go, hey, you want to do this? And they go, yeah, absolutely. And then all of a sudden they start flaking out and then you're like, I'm here by myself again. But nonetheless, as long as you're doing something that's great, the thing about that too is ideally finding a friend just so you have someone to check in with. Like my clients, I check in with them. I think can't tell you they train with me because they love my personality, although it is a pretty awesome personality. But what I can say is that I'm constantly with my clients. I contact them via the app that we set up. I contact them via email. We'll FaceTime. I've been doing Marco Polo as of lately. If you don't have that, If you have Marco Polo, hit me up. I'll send you a video message. It's a very easy way to demonstrate exercises or just kind of get out there, a quick video. But nonetheless, online streaming services are great. Find a buddy, someone you can join with, so you're not out there doing it by yourself, and try to stick with them, do it as long as you can. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Again, as I always say, and I will continue to say, something is always better than nothing. So pick something and just go with it. It's Friday. I got other places to be. Not that I'm more important than talking to you, but there are some other things I definitely want to get done before the week is over. Please come join me next week. Check out my website. Brand new, it's changing every day because I'm trying to update it, make it better. But coachpots.com. There is a section on there that says Chat with Pots. If you want to do an over the phone or Zoom consultation, we could definitely do that. I said 15 minutes. It can go as long as you want it to go. There's a good chance that I'm not going to be booked back to back to back, so I got a lot of free time on my hands, as you might too, especially during this whole quarantine. Hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message. But other than that, Pots out. Enjoy yourself.